Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we are going to take a look at the epic collection of battles, and this is going to be the final mission, or the planet Namek Saga mission, for the stage 1 of the epic collection of battles. So this mission requires you to run a full planet Namek Saga team, which we will do so. What we've done here is, because I want to avoid using the my own LR freezer, I've basically run this entire team under the leader skill of the Tech Piccolo. So we've run the Tech Piccolo as our lead. Everyone's essentially running under 130% skill, and then we've put the Gildo and the Raccoon in the team, the two Ginyu Force units that receive their EZAs, and we've also put in the third form freezer, and we also have obviously a friend AGL LR freezer. So a pretty interesting team build. Obviously Piccolo is going to do no damage to any of these units because Piccolo is a super type, but he's just basically here to provide his support abilities and of course the leader skill. I think it's only damage done that's reduced. I'm pretty sure he doesn't take extra damage because of being a super class, so he was fine. He did take a couple big hits because he hadn't built up, but overall he was fine. We're going to choose to take on the Krillin and Gohan stage, just because I find it moves a little bit faster than the Piccolo one. Don't necessarily know why. We've got the Prime Battle LR freezer here. Very impressive performance from him. Looking really solid. He's going to be running alongside this Int third form freezer. And then we're going to have the Int free-to-play final form freezer running alongside the AGL full power LR freezer. So that's realistically going to be our team for the most part. The rest are all just kind of going to float around. We have designed it for maximum damage against Goku, and that's pretty much it, entirely how we built the team. There's nothing really else that we can do here. Obviously trying to avoid using our own AGL LR full power freezer, so that is just something that we are being aware of. But that being said, of course, we shouldn't have any problems until the Goku fight itself, and you know, as always, we just need to clear through these first couple fights. The AGL LR freezer will be the #1 source of damage in the Goku fight, of course, with his guaranteed criticals. So that's really going to help us out, and that's why we use him as a friend lead, because basically he is the best unit for the job, so no reason not to use him. We've got past the Krillin and Gohan fight quite easily, and we'll move on to the Vegetas now. The only real concern with Vegeta is if he fires off a super attack against Piccolo. That will hit us pretty damn hard, but beyond that everything else should be okay. The Prime Battle Freezer will dish out some really good damage. He does have big bad bosses at level 10, so my one is fully prepared for this, but everything should be fine defensively. We're going to dish out a large portion of damage here. This Freezer hitting really well, considering he's paired up basically with the third form one, who's providing obviously the buff as well. And yeah, just a really good pairing, these two. Surprisingly good pairing for a lot of teams. Actually, they share 4 links, I believe, plus obviously the third form freezer gives him some support as well, so that kind of makes him equal to being as good. So if you've got this third form freezer but you didn't manage to pick up the AGL LR full power freezer, then dropping this third form freezer right next to the Prime Battle one is pretty much almost as good as running him next to the AGL LR one. So if you do need an option to use that third form freezer with, you can just use him with the with the first form Prime Battle EZA freezer. That's a very valid and solid option to use him with. But here we should be fine. Not too many issues. Obviously Piccolo got a bit wrecked there, which just tends to happen, so we do need to be careful about that when we take on the Goku stage. Remember, the final Goku is int, so we do need to be aware of that. But overall, we're going to be dishing out a solid amount of damage with good old Frieza here, so we should be more than fine. Triple super attacks, very, very tasty, stacking that attack very easily. So very, very straightforward fight here. We should be able to clear up Vegeta pretty soon, or pretty close to pretty soon, taking quite a fair chunk of damage. Obviously, things like Princess Snake aren't as effective when you can't lower the enemy's attack, so you do just need to be aware of that. And then he gets away by the skin of his teeth, but that's okay. Gives us a turn to collect some orbs, just to heal up a little bit, so that's alright at least. But beyond that, really not too much of an issue. So you can see there we pick up some orbs just to heal up, and then we'll beat out Vegeta and then move on to the next fight, and the final fight against Goku, which is 5 phases. For those of you who haven't watched any of the other videos, Goku's fight is indeed 5 phases, so yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. But of course, now that we are taking on Goku, the number one focus when you're fighting Goku is just to maximize the time that the AGL Frieza is out and on the field. That's pretty much, you know, the best you're going to do in terms of damage. Obviously, pairing him with this final form Frieza gives him a good running mate. The final form Frieza does have his guard activated the full time against Goku units, and also provides a very, very nice support buff for the Frieza unit, so that's really, really good. You can see this big damage coming out here, huge numbers, and just obviously guaranteed crits, really helping to chunk down Goku and just basically really pretty much improve his attack overall. 3 attacks, first phase, done and dusted, so that really, really helps out. Obviously, with Frieza putting out this kind of numbers, we are fighting the physical unit next, so we do need to be a little bit careful about the int Frieza taking damage. It is something that will definitely occur, so we just need to be super careful. What we're going to do here is activate a Whis and hopefully not get clapped with a super attack, but you never know. Obviously, we are fortunate that we managed to pick up some same type orbs, which we're going to need because we're going to want the Dokkan attack at some point as well to provide us with some healing. We activate a Whis because we need that Frieza to build up his attacks. Every time he attacks, he gains 7% attack and defense, and that really, really helps him out in terms of his damage. But obviously we were very fortunate. We got 2 nice big chunky attacks from the strength Frieza here, which have really pushed down this Goku's health, so it's made life a little bit easier. But obviously we are just hoping to not get smacked in the face with the super attack on this Frieza, but you never really know. You need to just make sure that you try and limit the chance of one-hit KOs, so whether that's keeping your health up, whether that's by making sure that the units that have a chance to die are not facing so many attacks. Anything you can do to avoid those situations is much, much preferred. So over here, we're just going to let the AGL Frieza basically do all the damage. We're going to get the Dokkan attack as well, which is going to help us heal up, although we're not too low on health, so it could have been a little bit better overall, but it's all fine. We're going to be able to clear out the physical phase, and then it's just the tech phase, and then the strength, and then the int. So obviously it's like impossible unless you have a unit that foresees super attacks to determine where the super attacks are landing. But you know, if a unit's firing 8 times in one slot and 2 in the other, chances are the super attack's probably going to be in the slot with 8 attacks. I know a lot of people will say, oh, it'll be in the one with 2, that always happens. Yeah, that's just the theory of unfortunate finality kicking in. So basically the idea that unfortunate things always occur at the exact right time is a premise that human beings have. So just seeing that and feeling it once means you're going to think it happens all the time. Meanwhile, it doesn't really happen all the time. It's how superstitions are formed, you know, like step on a crack, break your mother's back, all those sort of things. Happened once, and so because it happened once, people associate it even though you've probably done it 1,000 times. So just one of those things, but we'll be more than fine. We've got Frieza very nicely building up his attack and defense here, really crushing it in terms of numbers. You can just see here he's really busting out those attacks. He has a chance to fire 3 at 55%, which is really nuts. And yeah, really helped us out there, because that additional attack means that Piccolo shouldn't take it. Well, yeah, he actually does. He takes a super attack. You see, that's that super class reduction there. Piccolo's attack basically meant nothing to Goku, and now he's going to get caught square in the face with a nice big old super attack. We almost die there. Very close call. So something that we really wish we could avoid, basically. We're going to take out Goku with the active skill, just because I really don't want to deal with Goku. He is tech type, and I want to finish this phase and then move on to the next one with a relative ease. So we'll use the active skill to take out Goku here. I don't suggest it. I suggest saving it for maybe later on, or somewhere where you're in a bit of a tight spot, and then you'll be able to at least have better control over it, or it'll do more damage and get you more value than the single shred of health it removed, basically, for me. But beyond that, yeah, pretty much everything was fine. Using a Princess Snake here, please remember with Princess Snakes, they lower enemy attack, which is very different to lowering damage done. So once the Princess Snake is used, it doesn't actually provide as big a buff defensively. It's basically just a health increase when units can't have their attack and defense lowered. So just remember that. You're better off using something like an Android 8. I just took Princess Snakes because they were the ones that I had in my slots at the time. So yeah, but yeah, you're better off using something like an Android 8. It's way better for you, far more reliable, and just, yeah, actually provides a defensive buff that you can use. This Frieza, by the way, managing to gain some attack and defense again, should be pretty close to being fully stacked now. At this point, he's defensively quite sound. We're going to get unlucky and have Goku super attack Gildo, which is literally also, again, the worst possible thing that could happen. Got a bit unlucky here in terms of who the Gokus were supering, but you know, we managed to make our way through it. We got fortunate in that obviously the AGL Frieza was up next. We managed to get some Int Orbs as well with the Int Frieza, and then we also managed to get some Rainbow Orbs with the Piccolo, which did help heal us up a little bit, gave us a little bit of health back. But we were, yeah, skating a little bit close to the sun. Basically, we're just riding out a little bit here. Got 2 unlucky supers in a row, which can happen, and that really threw out our balance and control. Luckily, Frieza's power levels were enough to really guarantee us the win. He did a lot of damage to Goku, as you can imagine. So yeah, managed to finish him up. And then we moved on to the final int stage, where we used the power of Whis. So we used a Whis item, super duper helpful. Our last one, but it should be enough to get us through. And then we're just going to get really lucky and get a whole bunch of orbs, get the ultimate attack, or get the 18 key with Frieza. We've got Raccoon here as well, who can dish out a decent chunk of damage. Remember, the Int Goku's not as tanky as all the other ones. He's a little bit glass cannon-y, does the most damage, but he can take some decent damage as well. Double super attacks from Frieza, really helping as that raises his defense, his 12 key, so that is quite helpful. So obviously really good. And then we had the Int Frieza fire off a super attack also, really helping him kind of get into the groove. He's fully stacked up by now, I believe, but doing a very solid job in terms of his performance as well. Really reliable, great support skill. And then we had Raccoon in the final slot. So if Raccoon took a super attack, really not too worried. He's obviously a Psy type, and he does have some kind of advantage against Goku. He takes quite a fair chunk of damage. He hasn't managed to really build up any of his attack and defense or anything like that. He wasn't taking hits throughout, but 62k only, so really not too big an issue. Obviously we have good old Gildo here. He, you know, bit of a liability, of course, so just something we had to be super careful of. But we did get a massive bunch of tech orbs, so we gained some health back, and we should be fine. Frieza will do a tremendous amount of damage as usual, so that's really going to help us out, obviously, in trying to whittle down Goku as quickly as possible. Frieza really came in clutch here. Frieza's always coming in clutch, and he really helped us in terms of our performance here, basically wrapping up and sealing the win for us. So very solid performance from Frieza. These triple super attacks basically ending Goku's existence. But yeah, that's the Planet Namek Saga challenge done. Was a bit dicey at 2 points. We obviously took some unlucky supers, but overall we managed to get it done with Piccolo as the lead. So yeah, if you guys are looking towards team builds, here's one for you. But that's going to be it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll see you guys next time. But until then, stay safe and bye.